Blitz, that is. And bloody hell, that goes fast now. They already moved number 13 here. Knight a3. I guess the intention would be knight a3 over to b4, b5, right? Okay, so let me check first thing first if we live here. Multi-broadcasting. What's this? I need to refresh this page, which allows me to see my TikTokers messages. It says I'm live now, so okay, I guess that's the case indeed. And yeah, if I get this message via Facebook, that means we are live on Facebook as well. Soren Chess Coach here. We're going to look at a couple of games. Hikaru Nakamura, Wesley So. Speed Chess Championship organized by chess.com, this and that. Praise be, blessed be. Nothing more satisfying than a cold drink in winter. Cold energy drink in the winter. Makes you hot. Okay, I'm gonna read that one later. No, I can't read this now. I can't read it. Oh, hello, Mr. Sam W5. That's what I thought. Rook c4, which attacks the queen, forces the queen away. Now, if it's going to be a trade on c4, I guess knight will take on c4. But it took on c8 already, so that prompts black to take back. And now what do you play? The c file belongs to black. He pushed the pawn up. So I think he wants to avoid trading off the bishop or something. And amongst others, just saying, maybe after e4 he wants to play f3? I mean, I'm not sure, maybe. Because if you do that, you should be able to play then this kind of bishop h3 and attack the rook on c8, which is no longer on c8 now. The rook had moved over to d8. So the things had changed. Things are always changing. Would you still play f3 or is it just too much? Just wondering. Yes, this is a live game as we speak, Sam. A knight to c4 because a knight on a3 didn't do nothing, so you don't want to keep the knight there. You want to get yourself quite active with your pieces, so maybe knight to c4. A bit more activity amongst others, probably this kind of stuff. And there's still others. Anyway, that's going to be exciting. It's a blitz, 5 minutes. The first thing you should be doing is get in touch with the platform, the admins of the respective platform. On both chess.com, Lichess, and playchess.com, you would have some admins to which you can submit the game that you suspect it could be a potential cheater. So you could just tell them, give them the game report, and let the admins deal with that. That's the first thing you could do. Yeah. The knight on c4 pinned now. So you can't move the knight. Therefore, maybe you should be moving the queen. Like queen to, e5. e4, e5, attacking the knight. Interestingly, I thought maybe queen b2 would be an option, but... Okay, well, that attacks. I'll tell you something. e5 attacks. So black knight has to go. d5. Okay. I'm still looking at queen b2. I don't know why. That was my favorite move ever. In that position ever. So, really. But, a bit of a weak spot now. Look at the beauty of it. He pushed the pawn up now. Because if you take, there is check. And then the bishop together with the queen will actually winning a piece. You can't even take that pawn. So that's such an insightful move here. I mean, I just love it. Not just that opens up the diagonal and the bishop attacking each other and stuff, but if the black pawn takes on e6, you take back with the queen. So again, if f takes e6, queen takes e6, checks the king, and together with the bishop attacking the black knight like twice, so practically you're sort of winning the game at that stage. You just win the game. Which, of course, Wesley not going to take exactly for this reason. But it's beautiful nonetheless, this kind of tactics and all. Hello, Grandma. Now, yep. I guess half the viewers root for Hikaru, the other for Wesley or something like that. I'm very much equally balanced in between the two. I'm not rooting for one of the two in particular. I'm just enjoying the quality of the chess they do provide here. And hey, that is why they didn't take. Of course, you couldn't have taken. So f6, which makes this guy a little bit weird. Bishop on g7 is bad bishop a little bit at this stage. Bishop d4. Knight to c7. There's an invitation about the rook. And also the knight attacks this pawn here. Ooh, rook d7. If you take, they take. And then the e7 is hanging, attackable by the queen. Now that's getting really, really sharp. And less than a minute for Wesley. 2 minutes for Hikaru. We'll see about king gets a bit closer. I wonder if we're going to see something like this. I mean, it makes sense. Unless there's some crazy sacrifices that we have to look at. But I don't think so just yet. Is it bishop a3 an idea? Bishop a3, queen d2. What do you think about these? Oh, yo. That's exactly what... there was this kind of tactics. Oh, Lord. King takes, this guy takes. You're going to move king and then we're going to push up. This is just sweet. Wow. Oh, Lord. Attacks the knight. What are you going to do now? I think it's a check on f7 first, and then you play the knight I don't know where. First thing first, this is a check, and it's safe for the time being, I suspect. So rook f7. King has to go out of check, and then you're going to play something with a knight, I reckon. Right? I don't know where you're going to go, but just saying, maybe you want to play this kind of knight a5, knight c6 ideas. So white's turn, right? And knight is on prise and rook is on prise. So I guess now you have to do check first. Yeah, so rook f7, right, Grandmine? I think we're going to go with this move first. Rook f7. And then some other stuff. Nothing more satisfying than a cold drink in a cold winter. Rook d7, though. He didn't want to do the check. He wanted to do rook to d. Takes and takes. Check. This is a very sharp thing here. Queen. Oh, Lord, I think I know what you want to do. Do you want to know what you want to do? You want to do this. And when you take, it's promoting. It's a bit sick, but I think it makes sense, no? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was tough. Very tough. Very tough. I suppose bishop d5 would have followed. Would have followed. So probably for this reason, Wesley just gave up. Probably for this very reason. So they started straight away. More blitz is coming, guys. More blitz is coming. Hello, Road to Mastery. I've just seen your messages now. Because it's a bit of a lag with the chats. The TikTok chat is not together with the other guy, so I'm opening another tab in order to read your messages. So, but anyway, Road to Mastery. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate your visit, friends. That's good. Okay. Hikaru's turn. Nice one. Nice one. Well, I think we're looking at bishop b7 or bishop a6 had been played. Now bishop takes, knight takes, of course. I'm kind of streaming. Take whatever you need to, like, if you really need to. What else is here? The c7 is a bit of a weak spot there. You got to do something about that pawn. So no later. Also, you may want to castle. Or maybe if you're brave enough, you want to go. Okay, bishop takes, queen takes, castles. And now Hikaru goes for the queen straight away. Queen straight? Because he want to draw. That is why he offers queen a6 because he wants to draw. So he doesn't want to overcomplicate things. Hello, Jack. So queen a6, queen takes, knight takes, and yeah, probably we're going to make a draw. So that's why Hikaru wants here. And then he probably wants to give it another shot to win with the white pieces. So for this reason, Wesley refused the trade because he gets drawish. So he dropped now. c5 to eliminate the weakness. c7 was a forever weakness. So c5, which you mustn't take. Because if you take, you give black connected pawns in the middle. So he tries to undermine. Now that is interesting. If black takes on b4, you can't take back straight away because it's pinned, right? But I guess after they do that, what do you play? You're going to play bishop d2 or something. So they took exactly. Bishop b2, and then you want to take next, and rook attacks the queen. Okay. Bishop b2. Definitely white's going to take on b4. Where do you get the black queen? Well, I don't know. He pushed the pawn. Interestingly. So if queen takes b3... no, you can't take b3. That's a massive blunder because queen takes c2. You can't even take the pawn. If fabulous how? You can't take b3. Queen takes c2. So that's a blunder. This is just spectacular. The level of this guy's fast understanding is just spectacular. It takes me quite a few seconds to get the right idea. They are so fast. They are so accurate. No wonder it's in the first 10 players. I think Hiki is number 2, no? So fast, so accurate. But you know what I like about a knight on b4 potentially? Amongst others, but it's not that easy. Right, so rook fe1 protects the knight. So now queen can go and take on b3. So that's the reason behind rook fe1 protects the knight, so you could take on b3. What are you going to play now? Well, I do not know. Maybe just get the rook on the c file. Because the b3 pawn is like sort of compromised. Unless you want to play knight a5. Just saying for a friend, knight a5. It's not the ideal square for the knight. You don't want to get the knights on the rim, right? But then again, knight a5, you protect b3. There you go. It's not very attractive, but if you have to do it, you do it. A pawn matters very, very much. Next, rook. Yes, you gotta get the rooks on open files. You can't just wait forever. Bishop takes. That's a shrewd idea. They're very nice. b2 attacking, actually. So before you take the bishop, now you take. And you take with the queen, so you preserve the pawn structure. You preserve the pawn structure. a7, b6 connected nicely together. There's no point taking the pawn, so you took with the queen. Great. It really is great. And also double attack on a4. I don't know. Queen takes a4. Kind of like you have to, I guess. Or maybe queen a6. Well, we can debate on this. No, queen takes a4. That's what I thought. Knight attacks the queen. And attacks twice on d5. So you can't have them all. You got to decide what to play. Look, there is something funny going on here. You tell me, how is white going to stop 2 passed pawns? How? Like how? How do they stop those guys? Because I don't think you can. I don't think you can. These guys are very scary. Well, you're not going to push this guy straight away now, but it's a little bit concerning, right? I'm not sure how you play this with white. I wonder if black, maybe black won already. Maybe like, yeah. H, pawn. A little bit of a pain move here. I'm not sure what the H is going to do. As per black, well, probably you need to take care of the back rank too before you actually free up your black rook. Maybe you want to do a rook lift at some point. Yeah, so G6, exactly right. That's exactly what I thought. G6. Now, black needs to focus, and I guess Hikaru's going to just do that. He's going to focus on these guys, because these are very, very dangerous. Okay. He protects the 7th rank. Probably he's going to play king if necessary. Okay. I think this is quite instructive now, but just not over. He rolls the pawns now. He rolls the A and the B. Yeah? And now he goes. That's what I said. These guys are threatening. Those two black pawns unopposed by any other pawn and going down supported by the rook. Scary prospect. A little bit scary. I don't know what is white supposed to play. A bit of a waiting move and stuff. So they try to push this guy and black will try to go with this guy's. Well, okay. Okay. You gonna push again? You gonna take on H? Is it really important taking on H? No, he went behind the pawn. Okay, so I guess after white plays rook a5, attacking a6, black will have to play rook b6, right? I guess. Yeah, it could have been. Maybe it was an alternative move. G6, HG, HG, HXG. Okay. And now they're playing bullet. White king tries to centralize himself, getting the kings in the middle as quickly as you can. Also, king can attack itself and support this guy and attack the rook. Black rook goes back. Maybe you want to play f4 and then push. I'm not sure you want to go e4. Unless you want to play this kind of stuff. e4, king d4, and then push. But he pushed the pawn now, Grand Minor. Grand Minor, there you go. Can you take? Fizzled out. Maybe you should refuse. Look, this is difficult. Takes and takes. Yes, rook c3. That's what I thought. Takes and takes. And now it's going to do, white's going to do some rook exactly right. Well, there's still a pass pawn, but I'm not sure. From a human point of view, you have a pass pawn on the A. Maybe you should try to do something about it. But a draw in the end. Yeah. You wouldn't have made it past, and you don't make it past. The rook. And it takes you a billion years to try to risk stuff. So maybe it's not worth such a risk. Because if you want to successfully get with the black pawn somewhere, you need to get the king involved. You need to get the king, and probably just too many moves and just too risky, and God knows what's going to happen, and just drop it. Forget about it. How else can you force that pawn to move? You can't, unless you get a king. And they start straight away. And here we are. Oh, that's something. Sicilian. A lapin. Let me just go through the moves quickly. Yeah, c3. Bishop d3. Bishop c2. Attacks. d3 defending e4. Well, freeing up the bishop on c1 rather. e6, knight e2, bishop e7, knight f because they want to play knight g3, h6, queen e2, challenging d5, knight g3, we did say that, bishop g6, bishop f4, they move fast, castle, castle, and this is the moment now. Yeah, there's like a billion pieces untraded. So 1.5 point for Hikaru. Okay, it's not over. It's not over. Knight on h5 challenges the bishop on f4, which you would probably move where? e3? Or maybe you want to take. But if you take the knight, bishop's going to take, and you are in a sort of a pin, and then probably going to play queen e3 and move out of the pin. It's an idea. So what I'm thinking here is knight takes. No, he moved the bishop back. I did mention that one too. Maybe he didn't like the idea to be in a pin. Okay, I guess not a problem. You can play rook a d and then drop it again. Takes, takes. Okay, I guess you could play king h2, and having those three guys, you're perfectly protected for the time being. Then get the rooks involved and see what happens in the center. Queen goes for the weakness. Queen b6 attacks b2. So how you defend? Rook a b1. Chosen by Hikaru there. Finish the drink. Okay. Any stuff to be improved here for black? There is something interesting about this discover check coming sooner or later. So it's black's turn, by the way. Queen a6, you know what that means? Not just that you attack e2, but also this pawn is pinned because queen takes. Interesting. Very interesting. Because actually black threatens to take on e4. And how do you take back? How exactly you take back on e4? Because this is actually fabulous. Again, it's so amazing how these people play so fast and so accurate. It's just amazing. Queen a6, one of those moves you would say, what the heck does that even do? But if you scrutinize a bit closer, you recognize that actually e4 being threatened straight away. You simply can't take it back. There you go, and that's the very reason that Hikaru actually pushed the pawn up. This is a serious thing. Well, again, you can't push or stop because the bishop takes. Crazy. Now the knight on e1 defends the bishop, so you could potentially take and stuff. Now queen take, bishop takes, and we'll see. Bishop takes, queen takes, or knight takes, that is, and then queen takes a2. I don't know. Is that a poison? No, I don't think it's that much of a poison pawn. Particularly if the bishop disappears. Now the light square bishops are disappearing. I don't think that much of a poison pawn. The a2 I talk about. Well, yeah, bishop takes d3. Now takes. Okay. Knight is pinned, by the way. Can you take? Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, of course you can. Boy, they move fast. 3-3-6, 3-4-7. Black is enjoying an extra pawn. That gotta be something. It's gotta be something. Well, I'll tell you something. Can you play a rook and then a bishop here? Rook a8. Okay. He moved on a semi-open file. Queen goes away. Queen h5. I think that's a bit too crazy. You're not going to do bishop takes h6. I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No, he's not going to do that. By the way, it's black's turn to play. Queen g6 was just too drawish. Nah, there you go. I said it. He played it. Takes and takes. e6, a backward weak pawn. e6 is a weakness for black. Certainly. It is a weakness. Rook c6. You put the rook on a light square defending. And it's gonna be more pressure on that backward weak pawn. This is a weak pawn. But black can always play king f7, which is another light square, so you can't really check the king. So there is potential for black to successfully defend e6 if necessary, really. They try to attack a7. So Wesley just pushed. Bishop readjusting. Okay, this one is a draw, guys. This one is a draw. Now that's it. It's done. This is a draw. Nothing's going to happen in this game in particular. I don't think so. I don't see anything taking place here. So whether you take with the black bishop or not, I think it's irrelevant. Well, it's not irrelevant. Wait a minute. Now this guy is pinned. So what do you play? You move the king out of the pin? Well, yeah, he moved out of the pin, but he went over to e7. b3, challenging this guy. Probably you sort of take, no? Or you play b. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what black's best responses are here. Maybe they're equally good. A takes b3 or b5. That's weird, b5. I don't like b5. You better take, and then get the rook over to a. Yeah, so he took. Okay. You went back. Rook f8. You want to take. And then trade off more stuff. Well, trades now. It just looks like a... Yeah, okay, now, white threatened, so to speak. Yeah, it would have previously. White threatened to take the pawn, and this guy's pinned anyway. So that why king went to d6, exactly for this reason. So, still looks like a draw, I think. Takes and pawn takes, and then you get twice here attacking, but king goes very boldly. I like this Wesley plan here. She attacks with a king. It's fascinating. Attacks with a king. The king itself. Now, you can't say the black king is lazy or the black king does not participate directly. The black king just simply attacks. Boy, what's a weird place for the king to be. What a weird spot for the king to be. Double attack on the e6. Backward pawn. Weak. Now you could defend. How do you defend? I think... No, you can't move the king. This is a disaster. Bishop, probably. He didn't. I think I know why. Rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, and then the king's going to attack this guy. And you need to drop the rook on the third rank to defend. And black's going to do bang and boom. And that's exactly how you lose. And fascinating how Wesley plays. What the level of this guy's insight is amazing. So again, if white takes on e6, rook takes, king b4 fixes the weakness, then rook back rank and b1, and black is winning. Amazing plan. That is why Hikaru didn't take on e6, but instead he checks. And it's unbelievable to put the king in the middle of the board. Phew. Attacking with the king in such a fashion, it's just crazy. King goes back. Well, looks like they want to draw again. That smells like a draw now again. Smells like a draw again. What? I'm going to deal with that message later. All right, not to forget about my TikTok friends. Hey guys, thanks for follow, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for the follow and subscribe, guys. Appreciate. They still fighting for this. Double attack on e6, takes and takes. And the problem is just like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, very difficult. White gets the king involved into business. Check. Probably a draw. Probably a draw. 3-3 again. Just that there's a little bit of a difference, though, I guess, now, because this has changed. The black king is very close to actually support the b pawn. So I think black has some fair chance to win. This guy can be supported by the king. And the rook protects, which is that the stopper of that, exactly. The king itself now goes. So this is a problem for them. Amazing. I think black wins, no? I don't know. Yeah, it's a draw. You can't stop the pawn now. You can't stop that guy. It's going to be a draw. Yeah, that's it, a draw. Wow, this guy's so good. They're so good. I think 2.5 for Hiki. They're so good. They're really so good. Fast and accurate. Fast and accurate. Amazing players. Wesley White now. Nimzo, very fast now, Hikaru Castle King. LO1 Cash. Rapid 2200 on Chess.com and Lee Chess. Over the board 1822 Blitz. Other than that, on Lee Chess 2100, on Chess.com 2100. Knight F3. Developing stage. Very sharp. D5. Everything attacks almost everything. Castles, king safety, never to be neglected. Nice E6, probably. Just adding more power, more developing. A6, preparing B5 for sure. And not just preparing B5, but getting bishop B7 ready. Yeah, thanks for the follow and subscribe, guys. Appreciate. So, A6 for B5 and bishop B7, stuff like this. By the way, the bishop now has to decide what to do. You take, or I don't know where you go. Yes, you take on B5, exactly as we said. Bishop now, where do you go? You may want to go D3, just keep an eye on the H7. Well, they're very strong players. Yeah, bishop D3. This is very strong players. Queen C7, attack C3, which is not defended. Well, you could do stuff. I don't know. Bishop D2. No, he didn't even bother. Jesus Christ. So now if you actually take, they're going to take on B5. You can't take because you pinned and the rook's dropping. So it's amazing how they manage to find resources. Instead of playing defensive, they actually go quite on the offensive. So they're attacking. You know, their default stance is attack. And if you cannot, then of course defend. It's amazing. So the default is go for attack, which probably the only way to play chess, really. Ah, we got to go back, Grandmine, and check on that one. Bishop e7, which I did say, it's a normal thing. Specifically after you play b5, a6 and b5, you vacate b7 for the bishop on c8 to play. And now that bishop is quite strong and scary, I gotta say. I would be concerned about the bishop on b7. I would be concerned about that bishop. I would look for ways to trade him off if I could. But how the hell do you trade that guy? I don't know. Maybe time for white to play bishop g5 and try to make it a trade on f6. Maybe you double up the black pawn on f. Maybe. Just saying. Bishop d2. Okay, I did say that. Seems like a normal move to play anyway. Maybe bishop g5 would have been an option, but then again, you have to sit down and calculate, and this is not the rapid, guys. This is Blitz. Thanks for the follow my TikTokers, and appreciate, guys. Blacks to play. Okay, what do you do with the knight? The knight on b8. You gonna play that guy somewhere? Is there anything else you want to do? Knight b7. Is that a bad move? Or knight c6? It's not clear. You have to move the knight. Was there anything else? You have to move the knight. Probably knight b7. You know why? Yeah, knight b7. There you go. You want to keep the bishop's diagonal open up, and you want to develop the knight too. You can't just not develop. And then potentially black's going to play a rook on the C, another rook maybe on the B. I don't know. But it looks normal to play. Yeah, rook Fe. Rook Fe. Okay. Rook FC. I think is bad. I don't think that bad. I don't think it's bad, rook FC. And rook AB8. Okay, but bishop C6. Why? Because you want to take on A4. So that forces white to take. So probably we're going to see some rook straights. Queen E2. In order not to take with the rook if black rook were to take A1. You don't want to take with the queen. So that's why he played queen E2 amongst others. But also because there is a battery attacking B5. So that wasn't just one reason. It's many. It's a multi-purpose. Exactly. Rook takes. Rook takes. Nice. Very, very nice. What the heck's going on? Can't we just take here? Louis Blunt. Ah, I see why. After bishop takes and queen takes, the black knight takes on c3, attacking the queen defended by the black queen on c7. Absolutely sweet. So bishop takes, queen takes b5, and then knight takes c3, defended by the black queen, and knight attacks the queen. So you hit back. This kind of move. Splendid. Knight f6 to d5, actually to defend by attacking. What's not to like about this, guys? This is just phenomenal. h3. Just a little bit of back rank precaution. Although, as long as the queen stays on the dark squares, you can't really move the king. Rook b8, defending b5, so you can't take it now. Rook b1 actually said, oh, but I can. Oh, but I can. Triple attack now on b5, but I guess the idea with knight c3 is still applicable in the end, but let's see. Let's see how black's gonna play next. Looks to me knight f6 or something. h6, but then again, h7 is really not playable. Really not playable. And I guess black has to be careful about queen e4 and stuff. Hey! That's exactly my thought. That's exactly my thought. I said queen e4 in order to go h7. And now knight f6 to actually defend h7 and to attack the queen at the same time. So now you're going to have to move the queen. Queen goes back e2. Are we going to see a threefold repetition again? Ooh. If Wesley wants, I think Hikaru is very happy to go in a threefold repetition. If we see queen e4 again, threatening queen h7, black's going to play knight f6. Or maybe you can play the other knight? Just saying. No. Wesley changed it a little bit. He changed a little bit. Well, let's see. You would say, okay, knight to e7. That means he doesn't allow queen e4 and battery and stuff. So knight e7. Oh, also the knight might play to, like, where? Here? Why would you do that? It's not clear. But maybe. Ah, no. I think he wants knight g6. My God. Bishop takes h6 now. So Wesley found a new threat, so to speak. Oh my God, can you just still take, man? I would seriously freaking thinking about bishop takes h6, g takes h6 or something. That looks so enticing. It really is something. Bishop takes h6, this guy takes. Maybe you have to put a queen first on the h. Maybe put a queen on the h somewhere, and then you think about bishop h6. But that is a very, very compelling idea. What the heck is bishop d4 doing? I don't know. I thought you're supposed to sort of attack or things, but okay. Maybe he wants to play a rook a1 and rook a7, things like this, maybe. Now the knight attacks this guy here. I mean, it's the bishop on d4. Which, now if you take and they take and you take, also bishop can take g2. So it's quite sharp. That is the reason for which Wesley didn't even take on f5. He actually stays on the g file because he has to defend g2. And I think it's a draw. I'm sorry, Grand Minor, your fear came to be true, which is not the worst fear ever, I gotta say. But I think this is another draw. We got opposite color bishops, so they're not going to be meeting each other. Yeah, the bishop on d4 is the lesser bishop, if you want to put it this way. But, I mean, this guy can play this and this guy can play this, so you got to be careful about that one. That's the reason why queen e6 being played, by the way. I mean, just look at this one, fellas. If black didn't play queen e6, you could always play this. But more importantly is that the g7 checkmate threat. So black just reacted. Boom, queen e6. Rook goes back. Probably a draw. Checkmate threat on g2 again. So queen to g3 to stop. Yeah, okay, gonna be another draw. I guess. Yeah, gonna be another draw. They play bullet now. It's just bullet. Look, they fighting. It's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult. I still think a draw probably. He tries. They try. I don't know. You push this guy forward now. It's very sharp, and you got 8 seconds on the clock. Do you actually go for this kind of madness? I guess, yeah. But look, I mean, the things are moving so fast. Now they got a problem on f3. Bloody hell, you got to play queen b7 or... Oh, Lord. Man, you're getting smoked if you're not careful. Yeah, you're just messing around here. So Wesley just... Yeah, I think it was a draw at some point and he screwed up somewhere. Because it looked like a draw. It looked like a draw. One Cash, thanks very much, man. Cheers. Thanks you for the follow and for the subscribe. Guys, that helps the channel I'm trying to build up here with you, my friends. So, cheers. Thanks very much, fellas. Guys, we're going to call it a day now. Some other things have lined up and I have to deal with those too. So, cheers, fellas. You can check my latest updates on the connected pass pawns, on the good bishop, bad bishop. And see you guys on the next live stream or the next video. Take care, fellas. Be good and be wise. And see you soon, guys.